Hey, I'm James McDougall.
I'm Lexi Grabowski.
I'm Briar Knowles.
My name is Jessica Malka.
I'm Christy Murdoch.
It's Alaska Lee.
I am Natasha Prasad.
I'm Megan Hemingway.
I'm Leanne Johnson.
My name is Snezhana Baikova.
I'm Kate Schroeder.
My name is Natasha Hurlbert.
My name is Rachel.
My name is Deborah Lee Smith.
I'm Rebecca Amzalag.
And I'm an actress and producer.
I'm an actress based in New York City.
Writer, actress.
I'm an actor.
Actor and filmmaker.
I'm an actress based in Los Angeles.
And I'm an actor, singer-songwriter.
I'm an actress.
I'm a model actress based out of Calgary, Alberta.
I'm an actor and a musician.
I am an actress based in Toronto, and I want to thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
And thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for tuning in to the Chat with Dan show.
Yeah.
I think my toughest moment was doing a show in Vegas that I had signed like the 6-month contract, and I was one of the stars of it. And I was like, I'm going to bank some money, and then I'm going to go back to LA, and it's going to propel stuff. And it closed in like 5 weeks. And I had picked up my life and moved there. And I think it was the hardest thing for me to get over, because it was, again, one of those things of, you can book the job, you can start the job, you can sign the contract, and it can still all fall apart. And I think that realization made me just be like, oh my God, like this feels impossible. It felt impossible to continue for me at that time. And what healed me was, I was very lucky to do a small comedic, I heard someone talking about comedy, show in San Diego, and just for mostly an older community, and just going back to the art of it. So it wasn't like, oh, Vegas, like money and status and I get to star in something. It was like, okay, this is why we do it. This is what it was about. But it was really hard for me at first because it was so devastating.
Yeah.
I think for me, making my own film was hard. That was a tough one, because I made 2 films at the end of last year, and one of them's done, one of them's getting there. Post-production, man. It's a process.
Yeah, it is.
But,
that's sure.
Yeah, but it's arguably the hardest and most rewarding, I think. You learn so much, and it's just so empowering to make something, to have an idea become something. And so, yeah, I'd say that's hardest and best.
Yeah,
it's a big learning curve too.
Sorry.
Go.
I was just going to say, like, the toughest thing that I didn't learn until one day it snapped in my head is I have to be something that I'm not. If that makes sense. Like, they'll be calling for something in an audition, and I'm like, oh, I think that this is what they want, instead of just grounding it and bringing it back to what I can do and what I can bring to this character. I think was the toughest part for me, because I would get auditions, but I wouldn't get callbacks. I'm like, well, why am I not getting callbacks? And sometimes you get notes from casting directors and you really don't want them. Sometimes you get notes from casting directors and it's amazing. It helps you build as an actor. And sometimes you get nothing. And you have to look at yourself to see, maybe what am I doing that's not necessarily wrong, but different, that I should be doing a different way. I mean, that was the toughest thing for me to try and understand and navigate.
There was a moment. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I think sometimes what can be really tough is, we work so hard and we're constantly auditioning and training and doing all those things. And then sometimes, you get really close to that one role that you're like, oh, this is the one, and you like, it's as soon as that breakdown comes in, you read it and you're like, oh, I have to do this one. I want this one so bad. And then you get close to it and then it just kind of slips through the fingers or whatever. I think that can be very challenging, because you're like, okay, like, is there going to be something else, like, or what's going to be next? Or now you kind of, you feel let down in a little way. And yes, they say, like, as soon as you audition, throw it away. But, that doesn't always happen, right? Like, sometimes it lingers in your mind. So I think those can be tough because, it brings in a lot of self-doubt, and you get questioned and whatever, especially when you get closer up in that process. So I think that's tough. And just being able to like reassure yourself after that, like of like, okay, like things are still gonna happen, like things we're still moving forward. Because acting is one of those things too, especially when you're auditioning. It's like you get so close, but nobody cares who was about to be the role of so and so. Nobody cares who was the runner up to, like we were talking about like Austin Butler and Elvis. None of us know who like almost booked it, like if he didn't, right? So that can also be kind of challenging too, I think.
For me, a really tough moment and a really good lesson to learn was that not everyone is going to appreciate your art. And you are not always going to get the feedback that you want. I remember I was doing a theater show, and the theater company did gender blind casting. So it's traditionally a show that is 3 men, and it was me and 2 men. And I was really excited because I had done my research, like there was no gender blind casting. Like I had seen shows where like women played all the roles, but not where it was like mixed. And it was decided that the show they were not going to change lines. We were not going to try to imply that I was not going to like dress up like a man, but they weren't going to like change the lines. It was just going to be, we're just presenting this play as performers. And I worked so hard on it. And I had one of the tougher, like more masculine roles, just in terms of he was very combative and kind of just this idea of like very toxic masculinity. And I worked so hard to throw myself into it. And we started getting reviews coming out being like, but she's got boobs and long hair. Like, it's not a man. Why do they keep saying he? And I'm just like, oh my God, like no one gets what we're trying to do. Everyone's begging for gender blind things. Everyone's begging for these types of things. And then when someone actually does it, they go, oh, but you're not, doing the things that I thought you should do in this. And it was so frustrating because I feel like we worked so hard on it and people just didn't see what we were trying to put out there. And that was one of the toughest things to say, like, you can still do a really good job and it's not going to give you the result that you anticipated.
That's a really good one.
I think to Brittany's point earlier, one of the hardest things for me has been letting go of outside judgment for what I choose to do from my family, who I love dearly. But, they have lots of opinions, and creating that kind of separation of like, I don't actually have to tell them about this project. That was a big lesson for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with mine with stand-up comedy. Someone will come up to me after a show. They're like, well, I didn't really like this joke. I'm like, thank you for your input. And I walk away.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, no matter how you tell the joke, no matter how you portray the character, no matter if it's, gender blind, whatever, there's always going to be someone that's like, well, it's supposed to be this way. Well, thank you for your criticism. And you have to block that out. And it does suck because you don't know what that person can bring to that role that, let's say, like when you were talking about it was you and 2 other guys. How do you know that you as a female couldn't bring more to that character than a guy could? They're too stuck on just what's in front of them instead of what's behind and in that performance. And that was always kind of my thing with it. It's just thank you for your compliment and go on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's nice.
That's hard with family. That's a hard lesson to learn, but it is important what you choose to share and not share, because it's so much a part of you. And I totally get that.
Well, that's and it's good. Out in the world, right? Like they could go see this, or they could run across it, and maybe something.
They Google my name, it's going to come up. Yeah.
Like, you didn't tell me about this. It's like, yeah, and you probably know why, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't tell you because I was topless making coffee because the director said that's normal life.
Burned my nips.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Like, geez.
It's real life, Mom and Dad.
Exactly. Get a grip, okay?
How they do it in California.
Yeah. Everybody's just topless with their roommates.
It's like pillow fights in a sorority. Yeah.
You guys, it was such a treat talking with you all. Thank you so much. I do have to take off too. I got a 6-month-old in the background. I hear him.
Oh, congratulations.
That's
Thank
amazing.
Jinx.
I have to go as well.
Thanks, Dan.
Me too.
No problem.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, all right.
I also have to go, so I think it's the
I was going to say I was going to go. I shouldn't have waited. Oh.
Well, I just want to say, I think you guys are all really wonderful, and thank you for sharing everything that you've shared today. And I hope a lot of other actors watch this, because I do think it's really helpful to know you're not alone in this industry, because sometimes we're all competing against each other, right? For roles or whatever. But it's like, at the end of the day, we're sharing very similar experiences, and you're not alone in this industry. You're not alone if you have qualms about roles you don't want to take. You're not alone if you've had really, really low valleys in your journey. You're not alone if sometimes you wonder, like, am I an actor? You're not alone if you've like given 1,000 justifications for like, what you're doing on your side job to your family. You're not alone. There's a lot of common themes. So I hope a lot of people watch this. And I just want to say thank you, Dan.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan, for giving us a voice.
Well said. Yeah,
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, of
Bye,
course.
everyone.